And welcome to Small Business Today Magazine Talk Show on the SBT
Magazine Radio Network.
Good, you didn't forget. That's good.
That's awesome.
I'm Steve Levine, Executive Publisher of Small Business Today Magazine.
I'm Barbara Davis Levine. I can't say my name. I just get rid of it. It's Barbara Davis. Associate Publisher, Creative Director, Head Writer, Editor of Small Business Today Magazine. That's a medication.
And the co-host of this show, the Small Business Today Magazine Talk Show, works in tandem with the magazine to educate, motivate, inspire, and empower you, the aspiring entrepreneur or small business owner, just somebody with a plan B that wants to start their own business. Maybe they started with a dream long ago, but somehow the reality of everyday life and business just caught up with them. So,
I mean, it can be for anyone from youth. We've had youngsters that have read our publication and got something out of it. We've had college students write to us and saying they developed their own little business on the side while they were in college using our publication. We've had people that thought were going to retire and can't afford to. People that have had a golden parachute and found they had a hole in it. That's what our magazine is all about. We're about helping the youth. We're about helping veterans. We're about helping women in business and minority business. That's our biggest priority.
And youth.
I just said that was the first thing I said.
Right.
Yes, his memory, short-term memory, gone. And so, in addition, our magazine is published monthly, and every issue comes out with a cover honoree that's nominated by our advisory board, and it's all about the caliber of the individual that they give back. It's about somebody that has built something from nothing. It may not be the dollar volume. We're not looking at that, but the story is just these wonderful, wonderful stories, and it gives everybody inspiration that they're thinking, if that person can do it, well, I can do it. And they've looked at the adversity they've overcome. In addition, if you don't want to read the whole story, at the end of every piece, every cover story is a takeaway notes, and that would be like if you were sitting with somebody you really honored, thought they were a wonderful mentor, somebody you really respect, that you want to pick their brain about the do's and don'ts of business. Well, that's what the takeaway notes are at the very, very end of every cover honoree story, and it's best words of advice. And if you will go to every back issue, you can go to sbtmagazine.net or smallbusinesstodaymagazine.com. If you'll do that and you start going to the archives and you see every cover honoree's issue has the do's and don'ts, the takeaway notes, start making a compilation of them. I call it the Bible of Business. And so you've got like a compendium of the do's and don'ts of business. And if you see duplications repetitively in every story, then you know it's like kind of what's a clue look like. Some of the things we always know about are that every cover honoree is one of generosity. They're looking more what they can provide to somebody else than as opposed to what they want to make out of it. They're not in the business for the monies. Yes, they need the money, but their priority is in how they can help others. And it's the people that are like that are the ones that become successful. And being best friends with a banker, that's another common one that you hear about. You treat all the people that you would have to do business with, try and get a relationship with them, so that when instead of having to go get one business advisor, you have multiple business advisors.
Empower and listen to your entire staff, and not just the leaders or supervisors, where I remember Jerry Brower would ask for a staff meeting. Each one of his supervisors or managers get to bring in some other member of their staff, no matter how long they've been there, no matter what they do, and they got to sit in the team leader meeting, and give their advice. And I've said this a lot, but if you want to know how good the food is in a restaurant, don't ask the maitre d', don't ask the wait staff, ask the dishwasher, because they see it all come back. You can say, you know what, nobody likes these mashed potatoes, but nobody bothers to ask somebody way down on the totem pole. Mm-hmm. So empower your people, and when you take care of your people, they take care of your customers. It filters from the top down, the attitude and the personality, the corporate culture. It doesn't develop on the line. It develops from the top down, and it is a team. So those are some words of advice from our cover honorees that seem to come up most often.
Yes.
And there are some others, like even the worst idea executed is far better than the best idea you only think about.
Jerry Broward said that one
That
too.
was Jerry
That's
Broward
right.
too.
And that makes sense.
What are some other unique ones, Barbara? Do you remember that?
Right.
It's always generosity.
Don't go to work with your husband. No, that was.
Oh yeah,
That's my own.
and coincidentally, go to work with your wife. Don't encourage her, Connie. Anyway, but
I was going to say that one other piece about our magazine is we have about 45 submissions of phenomenal writers. They put in these great articles for anybody that is going into business or already is in business, and we limited about 25 every month. And the importance is, I'm as the editor, I've scrutinized that it's not a story about the who writer. It is about what's benefiting the reader. There's no me, and I did this, and promoting a product.
no advertorials.
No infomercials.
Unless
we have profiles. No,
profiles
we have
that we
different.
selected. Sales Nexus in September.
Right.
We had Tide, Mind, and Body in the August issue.
Right.
When we meet somebody who's got a book or it's got great information to share with our listeners, not just those live, but also those in the audio and video that we share, we like to have them back. And this is Connie's second visit here, hopefully not her last, and she is the author of Why Business Marriages Fail.
That's right.
Not just marriages in general, Barbara, which I think you need to read about, but business, whether that's, it could be family members, right? It could be someone you selected as a partner.
Partners.
Because you get along so well, drinking buddies, and it doesn't always work.
Drinking buddies? I don't think so.
Oh, I've seen partnerships develop over much less than that. Or corporate mergers or acquisitions, and there's a whole bunch of reasons why business
become
marriages don't
partners.
work. But we didn't, just one more place before we leave the magazine, sbtmagazine.net.
Or
That's how
smallbusinessmagazine.com.
you can get a complimentary digital subscription or hard copy, which is $69.95 a year.
I thought it was just $69 a year.
69.
Okay.
I mean 95. But we'll be launching a brand new website, much more user-friendly, in the next 2 weeks.
Going to be exciting.
And it's going to be terribly exciting with its own search engine for topics that have been covered in the magazine, with a master calendar of events for all of our strategic partners upload their information to. One central place to find out where all the networking events are, where all the certification programs, all the webinars, all the golf tournaments.
All of our contacts.
Yeah,
That's impressive.
Anybody who's a strategic partner or we've done a feature article on any one of the organizations will be able to upload to it. So there's no one central place you can get that. So these are things we've developed over the last 3 years that
It was all my
people
idea.
need. Yeah, sure. Anyway, but on to Connie Barnaba. Connie, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Steve.
So glad you're here with us in a beautiful color top.
I mean, beautiful. I was complimenting her before the
Is
show.
that like a coral color?
Melon.
Melon?
Very pretty melon.
What kind of melons do you buy? Because it doesn't look like melons.
I don't buy melons, honey.
What? Well, that's true. You don't buy
I go
anything.
out and eat them, though.
That's true. Anyway, but it's a beautiful color. on
Thank
Connie.
you. Thank you very much.
look
And it's
terrific
always
in
great
it.
to be back.
Well, glad to have you.
Talk about your background. Give a little bio on
Yeah.
yourself real quick.
Well,
You're
I'm
born
an
and raised
in Pennsylvania.
Born in
Pennsylvania.
there.
But I've been here for 25 years. That doesn't that make me
An honorary Texan.
only
honorary.
honorary? Huh?
Well, remember, she
I'm
was
still
born-
carrying that Yankee
I
tag,
was
huh?
born and reared in Houston, so yeah, I have to say you're honorary.
Okay, all right. As
Honorary.
long as you accept me.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. I'm an HR consultant, and I specialize in change management. And I try to help clients help their employees and their managers move with changes, accept changes that weren't their idea.
Do that for him. Change him.
We're about to change magazine business because I've been doing the same kind of business for 36 years, and the world has changed.
Thank you.
Where it's been about
Concept.
advertising space, that's really not what we specialize in or our best product. Our best product, most market product, is really the influence.
I see.
that we have in our contacts. So we'll be changing that up, still keeping the magazine.
I was hoping she'd
As a
change it to be
centerpiece.
like about a lot taller and blonde hair and blue
ditto,
eyes.
back at you, a little taller and thinner.
What am I going to do with these two? I
Let-
think that's outside my skill
Connie, let it
set.
go. Just ignore her and she'll stop. But anyway, what was your educational course? Where'd you go to school?
Actually, I went to Clarion University in Pennsylvania then. It was a state school, and I was trained as an educator, a teacher.
Okay.
And I taught high school.
What subject?
English, of course. English and
English.
speech.
Well,
English and
hooked on
speech.
phonics did not work for him. And
But nothing
Well, if you
works-
have to be hooked on something, phonics is a good thing.
Nothing works for you. And I mean that a lot, A-L-L-O-T. too.
oh God, when he spells a lot with 2 L's, I want to kill him.
I see.
I have to edit everything he writes.
Well, that's why you're
Well,
here,
Connie,
right?
back to Connie, because she is our guest. You know, Barbara forgets that. But so, how did you get involved? How did you go from teaching English to
To being an HR
services?
consultant.
Yeah, how did you do that?
Okay, well, let me see. I did my graduate work at the University of Pittsburgh it actually was a forerunner of like HR administration courses. They called it organizational communication, but it was not like technical communication. It was like communication amongst employee groups and interpersonal communication skills. So I got good communication skills from. So I graduated and I went to work in the public schools, and I've got some background in labor relations.
Wow.
Okay, they passed.
Not the kind with the delivery room labor.
No. This is employer unions kind of thing.
Again, ignore her. She'll stop.
That's okay. That's all right. But ended up negotiating contracts for my colleagues on the teachers bargaining team, and then was invited to interview with the Pennsylvania State Education Association, where I would be doing it professionally, not just as a voluntary kind of thing, and became quite good at it. And you have to know something about the education associations, teacher unions. That internally, they did not have HR people. And it landed in my lap to do the hiring and the training of other labor relations consultants.
That's got to be pretty difficult.
Okay. And it turns out that is one of the most recognized skills. It's like an advanced skill for human
I was going to
resources
say that's
people.
got to be a very difficult area to tackle when dealing with the unions and so.
Yeah, absolutely it was. When you know that you hold the responsibility maybe for anywhere from 500 to 1,000 teachers,
Wow.
and you're bargaining wages and benefits and
And if you don't do things right, you could cause a strike to happen, right?
well, it takes two to cause a strike.
Okay.
It takes yourself
So-
and the other person sitting across the table
Right.
from you. But clearly, it's a lot of responsibility, and you affect families all across the
Sure.
cities and the communities where you're working. I was promoted inside of the Education Association and took on labor relations responsibilities for the entire state. Wow. And was the liaison to the State Employment Relations Board. And then I fell in love with this guy in Texas. That's
Uh-huh.
how I got
Oh,
here.
yeah.
Okay.
It's got appeal, baby.
Yeah, and I looked around, and there just aren't that many. This is a right-to-work state. Okay?
Right.
So I went
that's
to work
right.
for a small company called Administaff, and
Oh, wow.
they provide benefits, payroll services, all kinds of HR services to small and
Sure.
mid-sized businesses, and they hired me to train their sales consultants, and then suddenly I was promoted to be the HR manager, and then the HR director, and the next thing I knew, I was the VP of HR Services Operations.
Wow.
So that's how I got into HR, and I worked there for a while.
Strong
happily,
company. Yeah.
very, very strong company,
Very.
and strong management, really
Good.
strong management. And then I left there and went into business for myself, and here I am.
And here you are.
And here you are
couldn't
today.
be in a better place because it said, number one, Houston is the most diverse city in the U.S. We have over 92 consulates, and we have the most startups than any other city in the U.S. right here, and the majority of them are by women. So you couldn't have picked a better, more opportune, fertile ground to develop your own business.
Yes, and I think the time is good because I think that what we talk about, how to pick a good partner or a good business partner, or how you pick a company that you want to acquire. In this kind of environment with the economy up and down and people looking for ways to grow their business, I couldn't have landed in a better place at a better time.
That's
Do you
right.
thank the guy who brought you here? Or?
Well, he's no longer in the picture, Steve.
That's what I thought.
No longer that. I figured
that's
that
why
one.
We don't talk about
We
him.
don't talk about
That's
okay.
how I got here.
Let it go.
Let it go.
I got it.
All
I got
right.
it. Well, we just have a couple of minutes where we have to go to break, but tell me, when you know it's time to look for a partner. Say you're an existing business, a small business, medium-sized business. What are the signs that you need that support and are willing to give up a piece of your company?
Well, a couple of things. Okay, I would think that if you have reached sort of a plateau and you've changed your marketing strategy, you've changed your pricing strategy, and it hasn't resulted in bringing you additional business, that might be one sign.
Right.
Another sign might be that your current customers, your really good customers, start asking you for products or services that you cannot provide to them.
Good point.
Okay? And so if you want to hang on to those customers who really need something that you can't provide, you'll find a way, right, to satisfy those
To bring in
customers
somebody who
can help you do that.
expand or
Mhm.
maybe their strengths or your weaknesses.
That's
et
right.
cetera, right.
That's right.
It's like
And yet-
Barbara and I. I'm all her strengths, organization, discipline, communication skills. I'm all that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Is that right?
He's the best communicator. Oh, yeah.
That's right. That's what I'm saying.
That's what you're saying.
That's what sometimes you need 3 exclamation points after you make a statement.
And a unclosed, it has parentheses on one side of the sentence, but if it gets to close the other, that's a...
Oh, that's
Well,
not
it's
good.
an open parentheses. That's all. Everybody knows that. Well, we've got to go to break. We've only got a few seconds left. But we're with Connie Barnaba, who's the author of Why Business Marriages Fail. And we're going to get into that topic and when you need one, when you don't need one, why they fail, and when it's best. So we'll be right back with Connie Barnaba in just a few moments after these messages. And you're listening to Small But Say Magazine Talk Show
On the SBT
Magazine Radio Network.
Hello, I'm Paul Marcus, owner of Affordable Searches, your premier investigation company specializing in comprehensive background checks nationwide. Business owners know one of the most important things to do is the hiring of employees. However, if you make mistakes or you don't check them out thoroughly, this could lead to problems. Some of the problems may be unsafe business environment, possible violence in the workplace, negligent hiring, lawsuits, and a turnover of employees. Our website has a wealth of information for you to read and learn how to run the correct background checks. We are also available for free consultations at 1-877-685-6691. Visit our testimonials page to see what our current customers say about us.
And welcome back to Small Business Today Magazine Talk Show on the SBT
Magazine Radio Network.
on this beautiful Friday.
Lovely
Afternoon,
weather out.
lovely weather
I wish
out
it would
there.
stay like this all year round.
Because Houston only has one season, but it does get a little cooler.
Oh, we get a really cold. Never mind that.
Exactly. But we are back with Connie Barnaba, but first we want to give a shout out to Jerome Davis, who's here.
Engineer extraordinaire.
That's right, against his will because he doesn't feel well.
That's right. You make him
And-
sick anyway.
Yeah, you make him sick. Anyway, his mother even do that a lot longer. And we have Mr. Ron Coleman of MovieWhip.com.
That's right. Not only does he have video services, he has film services, whole film crew, and he has a search engine optimization that works hand in hand with what his productions are about.
Exactly.
That's right.
And if you don't know, the reason we do that whole on the SBT magazine, because people are a little nervous being here when they shout out, the endorphins are going. So it's our signature, what we call in and out of breaks. So that's why we do that, and everybody has to get acclimated to get on the program and shout it
Makes
out.
it fun. Makes it fun.
I was
really-
wondering about that.
It's a real.
And we want to thank Craig Klein with salesnexus.com. And Sales Nexus is a CRM, and I always forget, it's a customer relationship management program.
Exactly.
He created it, which is a very sophisticated program that is much more affordable than the big guys out there. And he also has a marketing program. And the support that they give is shoots down everybody else in the market. That's all I can tell you. I've read about
Exactly.
what he
We're
does.
doing a feature article on him
That's right.
in the next issue. I'd say September, but it's already October.
October, right. But Paul Marcus, AffordableSearches.com. That is really great. If you're trying to get a background check on somebody working for you or plan to refer to somebody else, he is the guy to go to, and he is extremely thorough. He helped us in a special problem we had trying to find an owner of a house, and it was great. So we're very fortunate to have him on as our friend and not just a client. And then last but not least, Tony Noun with AutoShopper.biz, who when we had the flood, he was so generous. He lent us a car. So he's a terrific place to get a vehicle when you're shopping for a
15455 Kirkendall near 1960, not too far from Spring. And great guy and great cars and taking very good care of us.
Right.
Celebrated his 29th wedding anniversary yesterday
right,
with
with
Georgette. Dear friends. Anyway, back to Connie and all about when it's time to choose a partner for your business, and you don't want to get involved with the wrong one.
That's right.
And
Would it be good to do a background search or check on the person that you're considering being a partner? Would that
No,
be-
there you go.
Well, I think there are a number of things that you might do. The background check wouldn't be the first thing.
Okay.
Kind of think of it in comparison to a personal relationship, Barbara. You'd meet somebody for the first time. You get to know them a little better. You certainly wouldn't, after you met them the first time, go out and get to do a background check or hire a private investigator or
Barbara
anything
did.
like that.
I know some
Did she
wo-
tell you, Steve?
No, I did not. But I know some women do that with their people after they've gone on a one date. I've heard them do that. I wouldn't do that.
But as you begin to become serious about contemplating a relationship,
Right.
a business relationship with this particular individual, you begin to get them to do things like agree to a background check. This is something that is done with consent.
Absolutely.
Okay. Or to sign a confidentiality agreement if you're going to get into discussions of your business,
Right.
That should be all
business
under
friend.
due diligence, I would imagine.
Well, but some
on the
things-
front end, I mean, these are the minimal kinds of things
Okay.
that you would do. You might check references, just like you would for an employee that you were going
Right.
to hire, to see, what their suppliers say about them, what their creditors say
Boy,
about
if
them,
I
what their customers.
knowing what I know now, when I had employees before that I hired that actually even got a good recommendation for, and then turned out that they cost me lots and lots of money because apparently the person that was referring them, recommending, wasn't clear about everything. I mean, it's
Well, you also don't just ask one person.
yeah.
Okay, you should get references you need character references, you need business references, financial references. So you're just doing this is just the surface kind of thing before you begin to lay out your business secrets and your intellectual property to somebody else.
Where do you get forms like to non-disclosure agreements, that kind of thing? Do you have an attorney go and do it for you, or?
Well, there are several ways to go about it. Probably the safest way is to have an attorney draft a non-disclosure agreement. But the first thing to remember is that there's more than one kind. Okay, there's a one-way agreement, which means you agree to keep everything I tell you confidential,
Right.
but I don't agree to keep everything you tell me confidential. That's not the kind you want.
Got it.
You want a two-way. confidentiality agreement. And the basis
It's
of
like the song, love is a two-way street.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And the idea is, I mean, people say, well, why even bother? Why bother to sign a confidentiality agreement? Because it's only as good as the integrity of the person that signs it. Because I could promise to keep your information secret, but if I'm not a very honest person, why would you bother?
Because then you have legal recourse if they do. Right.
Well, it's a couple of things. If there is a disagreement at some future point, the NDA, one of the purposes of it is to set forth why you entered into this discussion, okay, and what you agreed to in the event that confidentiality is breached. But it also is like sort of a weather vane. Mm-hmm. If somebody does not want to sign a confidentiality agreement, that makes me nervous right away.
Sure.
Because why would they not want to say, I won't use your information to compete with you, or I won't disclose your secrets to anybody?
Right.
When they won't do that, up front, and that's the beginning of the relationship.
Big red flag.
Big red flag.
And we talk about people coming into a relationship, and each one has different expectations of how it should work or work best. And because they're two individuals with two varying backgrounds and educations and experiences, it's hard to come to that combined view that both agree this is the way we can work it together. So, I think because we're all so different, what do you see and what do they see?
Well, you make a very, very important point.
See that, Barbara?
Steve.
I make some good points here.
I think what the most small business owners do when they're looking for a partner is everybody looks at the financials. I think I want to do business with this person, and the thing that I really need to make sure of is that they're financially sound and they're not going to get me into any financial liability that I can't get out of. But there's a lot more to doing business than that.
Well, I'm just saying, because maybe the reason why they do want to go into business with somebody else is because their financial decisions haven't been. They're looking for somebody strong in finance. They may be good in marketing. They may be good in getting clients, but that may be their weakness. So, is that let's say that's why they're looking for a business partner.
Well, the important thing is that all of that is on the table.
Right.
And it's okay if you're looking for someone to help you with finances, but if that's not why I was looking for a partner, then there's a problem.
Exactly.
From the very beginning.
But as long as they recognize it, or there's no, everything's out and open.
Absolutely. But I think I'd like to back up a step.
Okay.
Because we're already talking about whether the partner is the right partner. And I think that choosing a partner is tough for small business owners. Okay. Anytime you do something for the first time, you're a little nervous about it, right?
Right.
Okay. It's risky because you've never done it before, so you don't have any experience with it. So that causes a little bit of heartburn, right? Another thing is that if you started your own business, okay, and you've put all of your own blood, sweat, and tears into it, built it up to where it is, it's like your baby.
Absolutely.
Right.
And you don't, you make all the decisions. You don't, your employees come to you for direction.
Right.
They're not off making decisions on their own about your business. Okay. So when you're looking at a partner for the first time, you're thinking about sharing that authority, at least some of it.
Or determining, you're going to have to set boundaries of what you're responsible for and what the other person's responsible for. It's got to be really clear cut. You can't have any gray area.
Yeah. And it's kind of high stakes because when the relationship works, everybody's happy. It works out just the way you want.
Right.
The business is improved as a result of it. But if it doesn't work out well, look at the mess you're in.
I can see the biggest risk. I mean, look, the first experience of even having another person that was in my world was a roommate in college.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
How'd that go?
It rough. I had two, and they both moved out. One, everybody, they trashed the room, and they only trashed her side of the room. And they wrote on the mirror, "This is for you, Patty." And I had actually been out on a date and said I'm going to stay out with I had friends that lived off campus. Will you sign me out? And she says, "Why did you do this?" I go, and so she blamed me. And so I mean, crazy things happen. But it turned out she was just some people you end up with.
This is what I mean when I say a business partnership involves more than just finances. It deals with relationships. It deals with a decision-making style. It depends on how well you communicate with one another, how well you can trust one another,
exactly,
how much integrity they have. All of this goes into choosing the partner, just not what the bottom line says.
Integrity is everything. When we were leaving Sunshine Media as independent publishers and starting our own company of Legacy Publishing Group, I not only need somebody that can put some seed money in, but also has a great deal of integrity. And I had John Cruz as a partner and a friend and a client many times, and he just seemed the right fit, not realizing that he was looking for a fit too at the time, and he admired what we did, and so that works great. It does, because
we had a long
integrity first.
Yes, and the other thing that you mentioned here is that you had this relationship over time.
Right.
You didn't just jump into this relationship.
No.
You said you knew John, you worked with them, you liked them, it seemed to be reciprocal, and just happened that he was looking for a partner as well.
Right.
So it's like that with personal relationships too. Most people aren't like the crazy people that go to Las Vegas, meet somebody in a bar and then get married. No, you don't do that. You don't do that. You take your time with it. You interact with that person.
Right.
You might even try working on some pilot project together to see how it works out.
That sounds like a good idea.
Something that doesn't involve your biggest clients or create a big risk. You get into it gradually, and then you work things out until you're pretty comfortable that you know that person. That person is a person of integrity,
right.
that you can communicate with each other, even when you disagree, especially when you disagree. Can you communicate with each other? And are they willing to share, that decision-making responsibility, and how should it be carved up?
When should a person, or how should a person decide whether they want a partner or they want an investor?
Well, let me answer that this way. It's all decided by your business.
I was going to ask that too.
I
was.
Okay. It's by your business strategy. The kind of partner that you need is determined by your business strategy. So let's just say I like what I'm doing, and I want to be able to I want to improve my capacity. Okay, so I'm just one HR consultant, all right? But I need to have partner or partners that have the same skill set that can do what I do. So my partners are going to be people that have the same skills as I do, that agree with my approach to business like that, okay? However, if my business strategy says my clients are asking me, my customers are asking me for something that I don't do, then I'm going to look for a partner that does what they're asking for, that complements what I do. That suggests a different partner, right? In terms of the skill set. Still, you need somebody with integrity and that can communicate and the same leadership style. There might be, I don't know, another reason why you might, maybe you need some financial strength. Okay, so you may be looking for an investor, but it's all dictated by your business strategy, your growth strategy. A lot of small businesses don't have a business plan on paper. They don't have a business strategy written out. So if you're gonna grow your business and you're gonna at some point get more customers than you can handle by yourself, you better have a plan for how that happens.
That doesn't happen overnight either, but sometimes momentum takes over, and indeed. Well, Connie, what are some mistakes that people looking for partners make?
Well, we've already talked about the first one, and that is once you've decided the kind of partner that you need, looking solely at one, you fall in love with one potential partner, Okay, it's kind of like love at first sight.
Yeah.
I want this partner. It's the only partner I'm interested in. I'm not going to look at any other partners, no matter how good they look to somebody else. I just want Steve. Okay?
It's happened before.
Take my husband, please.
All right. So I'm hooked on Steve, and I'm not really open to any other partners. I'm not doing any due diligence on anybody else. I may not even be doing any due diligence on Steve because I just know you're it. You're my soulmate. You're the one I need. And so I'm only going
I
to
love this kind of talk. Why don't you talk that way?
I'm only going to talk to him. Okay? Big mistake.
Yeah.
Right.
You can't go
Big
by your
mistake.
gut. People that go by their gut are
Okay. First of all,
That's a bad
let's just
thing.
say it is, even if it is Steve, you still need to do your due diligence on Steve. Could be a very personable guy, could have a very good reputation, but you still need to do your due diligence on him. Leadership style, communication style, all of that. But that being said, you shouldn't just deal with one, you can't assess Steve's strengths and weaknesses unless you look at more than one other prospective partner. So that's a
Right.
big mistake that a lot
It's
of
all combination. And
exactly.
What's the right approach for each individual?
Because the saying goes, there's always a lot more than one fish in the sea.
Well, unless you
And
develop a list.
And you develop a list of ones and start meeting with the different ones. You don't just isolate one.
Not even start meeting with them. First of all, you develop
Your
before you
list.
even get your list down. You develop a shopping list of what you're looking for.
Right.
I need someone with this skill set, with this network, with this financial strength, in this particular market, with these particular clients, everything that you want in your relationship.
Certain non-negotiables.
And certain non-negotiables, yes.
The alcoholics are out. You can't depend on those. No, I'm sure. But we are with Connie Barnaba, and she is the author of Why Business Marriages Fail. She's going to be a regular on our show, has an upcoming article in the October issue, and possibly November. And
I'm
a
loving
great
it.
resource.
I'm loving it.
I know.
How can people reach you real quick?
Connie Barnaba, businessmarriages.com. Connie at businessmarriages.com.
Connie at businessmarriages.com is the best way to get a hold of her, and also to get a copy of her book, by the way. And she has an ad coming out in the November issue. But October is when we got the first article. And we've got to go to break, and you're listening to Small Business Today Magazine Talk Show on the SBT Magazine Radio Network.
At Affordable Searches, our mission is to provide our customers with the most thorough background check possible to protect you, your employees, and also your business. We do so by contracting with companies across the country that provide us with the best information possible and in a quick turnaround time. Our turnaround times average anywhere from 24 to 48 hours. Our pricing is very competitive, and we are always here for you. We're always here to answer any questions you have. Please give us a call at 1-877-685-6691, and we'll be glad to answer each and every question that you have.
And welcome back to Small Business Today Magazine Talk Show
On the SBT Magazine Radio Network.
You can tell when it's somebody regular on the show that comes in a couple times. They
I'm getting
start
the hang of it. I'm getting the hang of
I'm
it.
telling you. And we like Connie Barnaba. She's always got great information on business relationships, whether it's somebody you're in a partnership with now, if you're looking for a partner, or you're about to merge with another company, or it's an acquisition of some type. It's understanding who that individual is and what their expectations are, and what to
And
look
again,
for and what to watch out for.
Tell the listener how to reach you again.
It's Connie at businessmarriages.com. The website is www.businessmarriages.com.
Great. So they can order a book like that?
Absolutely, they can. Just go to the Media Kit, and you can order it online from Amazon or Barnes & Noble online.
It's amazing. They don't store books. They print them right there. They make them and ship them out.
Ship them out.
I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, we talked earlier about non-disclosure, but when you're first talking over those things? Is there things you shouldn't just blast out or blurt out at the very, first time you're getting over and meeting with somebody?
Well, again, think of it again as in comparison to a personal relationship. Do you meet somebody for the first time and tell them everything? Okay? All of your secrets, everything about your childhood. I mean, would you do that?
Work up to that.
Yeah. It would be wise to work up to that, because it's just like a regular relationship. You don't know when you first meet someone,
Right.
Whether that relationship is going to be developed, to grow. And so you don't want to kind of, give all of the information, private information to somebody who you don't know whether or not they'll repeat it or not. That's a problem right now today with kids that get on these
Social
online
media.
social media.
Yeah, and they're spreading
and they're people who are predators that don't have the kids' interest at heart, and they're telling where they live, they're telling
Terrible.
who they are, they're telling all their parents.
Oh, yeah.
All of that stuff. You wouldn't do that. You advise children not to do that, so you wouldn't
do it as a grown-up. What about you have a business partner and things, when should you decide maybe we need to break up and get a new business partner?
Well, think about it again like a marriage, okay? You don't go into a marriage saying, oh, he looked great, he sounded great, he had some money in the bank, it sounded like a great idea at the time. Now will you help me get out of it? It's very costly.
Marriages happen that way.
Yeah, it's very costly. It's in terms of your emotional investment, in terms of your financial investment, in terms of your time. There may be other people, employees, shareholders, investors who are involved. You just don't jump into a business marriage. And the time to really do your due diligence is on the front end,
Right.
before you take on the partner, not after you've gotten into it, trying to figure out, now how do I get out?
Right.
It's normally very, very
Connie,
costly.
what are some red flags when you meet somebody, you consider them for partnership? What are the top 5?
I would say that one of them is that they are.
Don't like Mickey Mouse.
No. Let's say you're in a business setting, okay, with somebody that you're introducing to other business colleagues. If it feels competitive, if it feels like they need to be the center of attention,
Good point.
If you're having a pissing match with them, is that to go?
well, it wouldn't even have to be two-way. If they promote themselves at the cost of your reputation, then it's not a partnership. It's not going to be a good partnership. If it's someone that you do tell something to in confidence, and later you find out that your confidence has been violated or breached, that's definitely a sign.
I know Barbara would say manners and etiquette. How you behave in front of other people in a business setting.
Well, yeah.
Is indicative of a great deal more than just they don't have good manners. It's also being rude, and you don't want to.
That's right.
You don't want to embarrass yourself and your company with them in front of clients.
I think about bringing someone that you're betrothed to, or you're planning a serious relationship, bringing them home to meet mom and dad. Okay, is how that person behaves important? Yes, because you want them to make a good impression on your parents, on your other family members. You don't want that person being rude, being like non-communicative, sitting over in the corner somewhere. You're trying to have a conversation and get them involved, and they're not participating. You don't want them to be exhibiting a lack of respect for your parents. If that's your dad's chair and nobody sits in your dad's chair, you don't want your guests going over and flopping down in dad's chair. No. Okay, so it's not rocket science really, but it's just remembering that when you're in making a business decision, some of those same rules really do apply.
Well, sure, absolutely. So it's all about.
Put the mic in front of you. You got the mic up.
Well, you keep telling me.
I didn't move it.
You
You sort of pushed it away.
Again, I keep going back to expectations and what somebody expects out of a business relationship versus what you have to offer I think is a very, very big thing. So if we're looking at, once again, the red flags, they would be when they want to dominate,
Yes.
when they...
At your expense, though. Okay, at
right.
your expense. I'm the wonderful one. Wasn't it nice of Steve to bring me? He's a nice guy, but look what I've done.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And so...
But it's true about me. I am the special one.
Oh, God knows, yes. Let it go, Connie. And the other manners and etiquette and how they and behaviors,
Integrity. Do you tell the
attitudes,
truth?
integrity.
Oh, here's another one.
Go ahead.
It's when they decide to tell you the truth. It's not whether they're truthful, but it's the timing of it. So, for example, if I tell you something, and something that is between you and me, okay, and now I'm charged with doing something in the business. Something goes wrong, okay, under my watch, and it's something that's going to hurt the business, okay. Now the question is, when do I tell you? Do I tell you after you've gotten really nervous and gone to the bookkeeper or to the CPA that does your books and ask them to check it out and
Sure.
confront me with it? I tell the truth then? Or did I tell you
Right
when it happened?
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So
Kinda
it's
like-
not about just telling the truth, but it's about the timing.
Timing.
Of it.
Sometimes it's hard to coach somebody, several days after an incident happens and such. So the red flags also, we talked about due diligence in looking for a partner. Is there a minimum or maximum time you should?
Do your diligence.
I'm sure you find skeletons in the closet. I'm sure you'll find something eventually, but how long should
You got a
due
whole
diligence be?
house of skeletons. You don't have just a closet. So yeah,
You got to
that'd
bet
be
your purse.
scary.
I'll tell you that.
Well, if you deal with this as a process, I started out by saying you make a list, you make your shopping list of what you're looking for in a partner. And then you make a list of the businesses that might meet those criteria. Okay. And then you try to narrow the list to the ones that best meet those criteria. Okay. And you still haven't talked to anybody yet. Okay? Because before you talk with them, now you're thinking about what's going to be my approach to this. Okay? So what value do I see in their business? But on the other hand, what value would they see
In yours.
in my business? I got to be able to give them a value for being my partner. It has to be two ways, right? Okay. So, and then as I look at my own, stuff, what is it that might detract from them wanting to be my partner? And then do I do due diligence about that? And do I clean up anything that might be a problem before I ever approach them? So that when I go understanding that they're in my top three, why they're in my top three. I can tell them why they're in my top three. I can tell them who I am, what I'm after, why they appealed to me, and how I narrowed down my list.
It's always good to have other options.
Yeah, but up front, they should know that you just didn't make this instant decision, okay?
Good point.
That you have done your homework about it, and there are very good reasons why you appeal to me or you appeal to me as a potential partner.
How do you get involved in helping people do what they're doing?
Well, typically, I like to be involved before they make the choice, okay? That might not always be the possibility. They may have already chosen their partner, and they're bringing me in to help them make it work, to integrate if it's a larger business. Or they may, if they're a smaller business, be asking me to help them choose the partner. Sometimes it's good to have an objective third party That's how parents operate with relationships.
Like a
Right.
One of the
mediator.
like a mediator. Like, take your time, sweetheart. You don't have to get married right now. You're young. You've got plenty of time. That kind of thing. But the idea is you're steering them if they haven't done this pre-preparation. You're steering them to be more objective about the selection criteria, so that they don't get themselves all tied up and waste a lot of time with someone that is not going to complement their business.
What words of advice you give anybody that's just going into business as they're starting to, maybe if they're starting, do they need a partner to go or just go on their own? What would you say to decide whether they're just going into business? Do they need one or not?
Well, it depends on the business, and it depends on the business strategy. Okay? So if I have an idea for a business, and it's a great idea, but I'm missing this piece, then I may need a partner to make it
operations,
to make it
sales and marketing,
to make it come together. However, if my idea is a new innovative one, I may need to develop it and demonstrate proof of concept before anybody's willing to partner with me. It's not, you just can't walk up and say, I'm wonderful, marry me.
That's right.
Just trust me. Trust me. It doesn't work that way either. It doesn't work that way. Okay? So I keep going back to strategy because I think that a lot of small businesses overlook, they think that if they can get customers coming through the door, as long as they get business coming in, that's all that they need. But actually what they need is customers coming in the door who have sort of the same needs. Because if you're my customer, Steve, and you need this, and Barbara's my customer and she needs that, and I keep adding customers that need different things, sooner or later I'm going to be at the point where I don't have the capacity to serve any of my customers. What I really need is a strategy to get to my target market, and my target market has a profile. They all need similar things,
right.
So that every time I get a customer, I know it's something I can do that I do for my other
consumers' needs change as technology changes, as life changes. So what they needed even 3 months ago totally changes.
Right.
And you got to keep one eye on your bottom line, the other eye on your clients and how they've changed. And client satisfaction surveys are important. And I think a lot about finding the right partner is finding one who shares your values.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you can go that far, shares your values, whether your spirituality or level of spirituality. I don't even have to be.
You got to have common ground. You have to have, I think, values that are most important.
Yes, because as the leadership of a business goes, so go the employees. This is one area where leaders just absolutely must walk their talk. You can put all the rules down on paper. You can laminate the wallet cards saying what we believe in. Here's our mission, here's our vision, here's our values. Okay, but if they see it in writing one way and they see you doing something else, it's
totally off.
You're not going to have it.
So to get a hold of Connie one more time, it's Connie at businessmarriages.com. That's also the website, businessmarriages.com.
www.businessmarriages.com.
And look for her article in an upcoming issue of Small Business Day magazine. That'll be the October issue and probably November. And she'll be participating with a book signing at the HMSDC Expo November 4th and 5th. And we will be there as well as a sponsor. With a double booth, no less.
Yeah.
And
I'll have some magazines at my booth, too.
Bring some magazines there. And so, and more information on that, hmsdc.org is, you get more information on that. And we've had another great conversation with Connie. Hope you come back again.
I'd love to come back.
Good. Love talking to you. Great information. And whether you're in a partnership, whether you need to expand your business and bring on a partner, Connie literally wrote the book. And why business marriages are risky business.
That's right.
My question, to finalize, what of all the things we've talked about, is there one particular thing we want to just hit home before we end the show?
Take your time. Have a strategy. Make sure before you become legally connected that you know who you're getting connected with, because it's a lot easier to get in than it is to get out.
There you go. Good information.
This is great
source.
information. Well, what else? One more thing. we always talk about best words of advice.
Yeah.
Let's talk about best words of advice.
Yes, that though.
Well, but I mean, just in general.
Or
best,
just in general, your experience working with businesses and for startup entrepreneurs and small business owners outside the arena of bringing on a partnership, what are some of your best words? What are your takeaway notes?
My takeaway notes would be, first of all, get a strategy. For a long time, I didn't think you needed to have one, but you can't tell whether you're making progress if you don't have a strategy and you don't have some milestones to evaluate. Okay?
Yep.
And so, we talked about when you need a partner. You don't know when you need a partner unless you have a business strategy.
Right.
Right? You don't know whether your strategy is
And
working
business
or not.
plan.
Okay. And you don't know when it's time to change your strategy. You really do need to have a business strategy to grow your business. And just taking on a partner is just one of the things that you might do to grow
Absolutely.
your business.
Well, Connie, thank you again for being on the
Thank you so
show.
much.
You're really terrific. We love you. And
I love you right back.
this audio, if you missed any
Again,
portion of this, the audio will be on our various Facebook pages, particularly Small Business Today magazine on Facebook, and then the video up next 24 to 40 hours. Thanks to
Ronald Coleman,
MovieWhip.com. Been a great show, and you've been listening to Small Business Today magazine talk show
On the SBT Magazine Radio Network.